All right, welcome to another episode of The Catholic Couple Having Fun with Faith, Family, and Friends. I'm your co-host, Bobby Fredrickson. With me, as always, my beautiful wife,
Katie Fredrickson.
I'm the convert Catholic, and she's
the cradle Catholic.
And here we are on a very special episode of The Catholic Couple with special guests, Kira and Jeff of Mercy Divine. Hello, how are you guys?
We're doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
We were chatting a little bit before we got started. We're both parents, and it's like putting our kids down, trying to get them set away so we can kind of do the things that we're passionate about. Right. Whether that's, I know you're active on Instagram and your music, but it's very hard. And that's a lot of what we do on our podcast is how to balance those kinds of things.
The juggle, right?
Yeah, the juggle.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely a balancing act.
Especially when one of your kids doesn't like to go to sleep every night.
Oh, that's right.
And it's the oldest one, so you would think it would be like the little 4-year-old, but no, it's the 10-year-old.
She lays down, goes right to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, our 7-year-old fell asleep like 5:30 on the couch. He was helping me like carry firewood, and I wore him out a little bit. He was already knocked out. I'd wake him up for dinner. So
that's the key. Wear him out.
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
So we connected on Instagram because I don't even know how, but I just found your music, and it was just so refreshing to see good traditional music done with quality. A lot of times it's one or the other sometimes, but it's good. I know within our churches, especially, that quality, it's hard to get good quality in the music ministry in general. Mm-hmm. So if you guys just kind of want to maybe just start a little bit about your journey and the faith and music and how that all kind of came in, and don't have to tell us everything, but just like a general, so people get an idea who we're talking to.
Cool.
Okay, I guess I'll go. You go. Okay. So yeah, we met in grade school, and
cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it was preschool, I believe, on. So we were in
Catholic grade school.
Yes, yeah. So all the way through high school. And we started I realized that he was into music when he played at their school dance. So I was like a fan of his, and I had a big crush. And I always have to tell that part. So then after that, I ended up auditioning for his band, and then I was a member. And then from there, we got really serious about music, and then a couple different projects over the years, writing music, performing music, recording. And fast forward a bit, we had a major artist, Ashley Simpson, covered one of our songs.
No way.
It was cool. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, when TRL was a thing still on MTV.
Music videos, remember that?
Yeah.
So was that your genre? More like pop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like a pop rock kind of thing.
We were always writing songs from day one. It was like horrible songs at first. They were just ridiculous.
So bad,
I don't even, But we were learning our craft as we went, and we started, I think, writing our first song in 8th grade together.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that is so cool.
In there somewhere as a love story. We started dating, and the rest,
Sorry, I'm an elementary teacher at heart, high school teacher, and then now an elementary principal. So I just think that's so cool. Like, cool. I mean, that's like who I'm with every day, our kids that age. So to think that, you guys
never know.
I know
have that.
It's crazy.
I have that, you say that all the time. Well, like boyfriends and girlfriends, or like friendship, like, well, actually the friendships stay with you. But I just think that's a really cool and unique story to have.
Yeah.
Rare. Yeah, it's funny. My daughter's like, I can't see myself marrying anybody in my class. I'm like,
that's okay. You don't have to.
It's okay.
I don't actually approve of anybody yet.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So yeah, and I think so. From there, I don't know. We basically used that little launching pad of having that song covered, and then we moved out to Los Angeles. And we lived there about 5 years. And got
enough money to go for 1 month.
Yeah,
when we turned it into 5.
We're like, okay, we're just gonna pray that something happens. So, and then at that point, something did happen so that we could stay. There was a show called The Secret Life of the American Teenager, and they decided to use our song "Courage Is" as sort of like their unofficial theme song for the show. So it was on almost every episode, I think, in the beginning of each episode, and they filmed a special video of the band, and we were in the TV promos for the whole thing. So that kind of launched our project, The Strange Familiar, at that point. And I don't know, you take over.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But-
power in.
So that's all in secular.
Yes.
Like, there's no. Are you guys? Is faith a part of your life at this time? At this in this chapter, or is it like in the back burner because that's the grade school that's
Yeah, cradle Catholics that we are. We were going to mass every Sunday, and our parents always taught us that, and we did. And even when we moved out to California, we were still going to mass. We joined a choir out there that was like a contemporary evening youth mass, and so we started doing that too. So that was always sort of following us, but it was kind of behind us. It wasn't really like in front, and we didn't make it super priority, but we didn't forget about it either. I wouldn't say we were living our best Catholic life at that point,
I
especially
can totally relate with everything you're saying as a cradle Catholic. Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
And making a lot of decisions based on success and getting our career in order, and putting off having kids because we don't have any money, and all these excuses we can think of. Yeah, lots of issues there.
Yeah, it was we when we got married, we were living with each other before we got married, so that's confession
Strike
number
one.
one. Strike one. So yeah, we were I would say, yeah, cafeteria Catholics. We were picking and choosing what we wanted to believe. And so when we did get married, like, we hadn't thought about this before. We're like, well, we can't have kids. Like, this is too much. We love kids. We always loved our nieces and our nephews. We're the youngest in both of our families. So we have older brothers and sisters who have kids, and we loved our nieces and nephews and babysitting them and everything. And so it wasn't that we didn't like kids. It was that we were like, okay, that's just down the road.
Yeah.
And so I started using contraception, and when we got married, and it was like this slow decline of just so many different things. I had physical symptoms. I had sort of a really big scare where I had a really bad migraine that seemed like a stroke. I ended up in the ER, and I'm thinking I'm going to die.
Wow.
And it was ironic because when I went to the restroom, I was sitting there by myself, and I was just praying because I was so scared because I couldn't form words. It got to that point where you can't talk. So I thought, like, seriously, and the numbness down one side, and
Wow.
it was scary. So I'm praying. I'm like, God, don't let me die. And the first thought that popped in my mind was like, I have to be a mom. And that hit really hard because that's the one thing I'm trying to avoid right now is no, I can't, and so
it's like everything else in our life was working out great. We were, we started getting a lot of songs and film and TV, and music part was going up, but then our marriage and our faith was going down. So it's not in the best situation there. But the songs, though, that we were writing, and the fact that the song you were talking about, Courage, is really about just getting back up again and just keep going. And it's funny because that song, of all the songs we wrote that got out there the most, was the first song we ever wrote as a prayer. And it was the first time we ever really let God into the music. And it's just so funny that
and that's your catalyst.
That's the one that sort of started everything. Little hints along the way that, he's got his hand in things, but
yeah, it was weird because that song, actually, we were surprised that was the song that our producer picked. He was like, it was like the last one on the bottom of the CD.
We put it at the end because it was the slow, pretty song. Like, no one, we need to rock. Like,
all these crazy
the first
rock
19 songs are really solid. We just threw that one on in case.
So yeah, the music kind of shifted from this very sort of angry, angsty kind of place into something different. And while we were going through this big upheaval, like with my physical symptoms, but also I started developing like anxiety after this, because it was like the first time I realized, I'm young and I'm healthy, and I'm like, how is this going on? Why am I having all these problems, these migraines? And so I was really questioning that. And that made me, I guess, for the first time, really feel my own like mortality. So I was starting to really have a lot of anxiety, and that was probably the hardest part of it. So long story short, went to a bunch of doctors. All of them said, no, it's not the pill. You're fine. You need anti-anxiety medication, or you need this, or you need that. I was like, something's not right here. So we figured it out, and I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's when we really dove into the faith. And that was kind of like the catalyst for us to want to know more about what the church teaches and to really live our faith. versus sort of have it on the side, compartmentalized as this side thing that we.
I'll never forget the day that we went back to confession after like 5 years. It's been a long time, 3 or 4 maybe. And afterwards, we just felt like this huge weight lifted. We like went and got ice cream, and we were just like,
Oh, that's so awesome.
and it was like really hard to like, make that decision to go because like, you're embarrassed, you don't want to think about these things, but we were just so happy that we did it. It was like a new chapter.
Yeah.
And around the same time, that rosary that was sitting around in my sock drawer that I never used, came back out. We started praying to Mary. Her intercession too was just like, she really helped get us where we needed to go.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And that you're in that together. A lot of times people have those experiences alone, and I mean, not alone, that God is with them and they have, that, especially those incredible experiences in the sacrament of reconciliation and confession, but that the fact that you guys were able to experience that together is really powerful.
It was amazing. Yeah. I was very thankful. I think I was just telling somebody this the other day, but that we found the rosary together, and you were willing and we were both willing because we were going through that suffering. We were like, we'll do whatever it takes. We're lost. We need to start somewhere. So we started with the rosary, and Mary always leads you back to Jesus. So,
So you had, how much longer after that did you start having your children, having your first, your first daughter and having your children?
So shortly after that, we
moved home first.
We recorded our like second or third album out in Los Angeles. And we actually did like a big Kickstarter campaign, and people funded it. So it was really cool. We did that. Somewhere in there, we were on America's Got Talent. I'm not even sure like when that was.
No way.
Oh,
So
wow.
were you called Mercy Divine this whole time, or what was
Not
it? A
quite
different?
yet. This was still the Strange Familiar.
Yeah. So we were
Okay.
this Strange Familiar, and we made it to like the live rounds of America's Got Talent. And it was
We love that show. We're gonna have to look this up now.
Yeah, right. My daughter likes to watch it with
Yeah.
me.
It's intense being on the other end. It was
Oh,
hard.
I bet.
But it was fun. It was an experience.
So did you get 4 likes or 4 yeses, or how did that go?
At the time, I think there was only 3 judges.
Just 3
Yeah,
judges?
3, and we made it through. There's like, there's auditions they don't even show you. So we made it through that initial. Then there's one that's televised and they film, and then you don't know if you'll get cut even out of it, even if you make it. So that was a surprise. We're like, are we gonna be in there?
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
we made it through that one, and then we did Vegas, and then we did the live rounds, which were really stressful because you have to have your performance down to like this teeny little amount of
90-second
time, and you have
performance.
to,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
it was definitely an experience to remember, and it was fun. So we did that. I didn't answer your question. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. But we shortly after we recorded, I don't know, 5 or 6 songs, and we just kind of decided like, and after this reversion, we're like, okay, we need to move home. It's time now. We're ready to go home and be back in Ohio with our family. So we moved home, and as we moved home, we signed a record deal with, it was so funny. No one signed us while we lived in Los Angeles. And then
And then we moved to Ohio.
we signed a record deal with an indie
Parting
label
gift.
in New York City. So that was, it was actually kind of cool because we were coming to this coast anyway. So, and then we thought, we're still going to do this music thing. It doesn't matter where we are. We can do it anywhere, which is true. I mean, especially nowadays, even more so. And we were still like very afraid to have children. I don't know, even though we were living our faith now and you were open to life, but we were also like inside, I think, still closed, like, and afraid.
Well, all those years of like the world telling you, get your career together, get your hit songs done, get your life in order.
Exactly, that lie that our culture tells us that you can't have your dreams and children too. Right? That you have to choose between having children and your dreams, which is such a lie.
It is.
It is. And we had no idea. I just remember one day we were in our apartment, I was talking to him, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, there's something really strange. Like I feel like I miss somebody that I don't even know yet. And like it's so weird that was my thought process. And I remember telling you this. I'm like, I was getting really emotional about it because I was like, I knew I always loved the name Rain. It was like, just, I don't know, I loved it for a guy or a girl. And I thought well, our first child, I really want to name them Rain. So I knew this for years. And I just remember telling them, like, I feel like I miss Rain. I'm like, but I don't know Rain yet. So slow. And then shortly after that, we were surprised by getting pregnant. And it was like a shocker. I don't think we weren't sad in any way. We were excited, but also really afraid, really scared. It was a big like hurdle for us to get it. Like, how do we do this? We got this label now in New York. Like, what are we going to do? They're going to be mad at us or something. Like, what? I don't know what I thought.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my mom, and I was afraid to tell my mom that I was pregnant. I'm like, what? Why are you afraid to tell? And then she goes, what's wrong with you? That's a great thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I just had this, the culture is so pervasive. It's so in your face that, oh, you can't live, like your life's over if you have. I'm like, what? And now obviously it's not. Obviously it's just an amazing gift and just so beautiful. And so we had our daughter, Rain Marie. So she is a person and she's amazing. And I can see why I missed her before I knew her.
Aw, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I don't know. I was scared too. I mean, it's just, I think that's just part of it. It's just the unknown and the uncertainty of it because there's so many variables that it's just like, it's just like, you don't know how to do it until you do it. Like, you could be a niece and nephew, but it's like, hey, you get them right back. But in the middle, all the stuff that came with it. And for us, our daughter, she was 5.5 weeks early. So I got the call at work like, hey, don't freak out. But, she was due in June. We ended up having her in May. We named her Avery Marie. So she's our Ave Maria. Yeah. So, I literally, she had the baby and the shower was the next day. So I was at the shower by myself. We didn't have anything yet. Talk about like freaking out. Like, I'm the guy at the shower. We don't have the crib. We don't have any of that stuff. And we are just had a baby.
Dove right into parenthood like that with none of
wow,
that.
that's the way to do it, man. Trouble.
Yeah.
Right?
Isn't that funny though? Like God, you make all these plans and none of your plans ever really matter because he's
I said a rosary every day for that baby to be on time and healthy. She was healthy, but she was only 3 pounds and premature and she was not on time. I'm like, what the heck? But that allowed me to be with her for a year, take time off. So yeah, his plans are definitely better.
Yes, that's what we've learned.
Yeah.
We were hoping for May 13th, but we ended up getting May 11th. But that was cool too.
Yeah. Oh.
So transition. So so now that you became parents, what was the next step? You got plugged into back at your local parish. You moved back to like home, like your hometown.
Yeah, so
like where you guys grew up.
Yeah, about the same time. It was funny. Literally, someone knocked on our door and said, someone from our church, and said, we'd like to start a youth group and we want you guys to start doing the music for our mass. We're like, who, me? Are you talking to me? Okay, all right, we'll talk about it. And so that was something we'd never done on our own. It was something we've been familiar with, obviously, but it was a new venture for us, a total new path. And so we said yes, and we started it. Gosh, that was almost 9 years ago now.
9 years ago, yeah.
And here we are still doing that mass.
Yeah.
Are
you really?
Planning it, doing all the music for it, writing the psalms. I think we've written every psalm in the book so far over those 3 cycles.
Mostly because I'm just lazy and I don't want to have to learn other people's so I'm like, I'm just going to do it my way. And so we ended up writing these psalms, but I was really happy that we did because now we have quite a big collection of music, even, Eucharistic hymns and psalms and stuff. So that's kind of how Mercy Divine was born, because we decided
slowly but surely, we were doing all this.
We needed a
liturgy,
place, right? We needed a place
for it, and we just fell in love with it more and more. And we just said, okay, we're going to do this now because this is really. And at one point, we still loved doing that music with the Strange Familiar, and maybe we'll still continue to do stuff. But it got to a point where we were like, we just want to be just boldly Catholic. Like, I just want to do music that is 100% Catholic. And we, like you said earlier, like we want it to sound as good as possible. Like we work really, really hard to try to record everything as best we can. All the experience and all the stuff we've learned over the years and the mixing, we do a lot of it on our own. Takes us forever, but we a little at a time we do it. But yeah, we just really want to have we want to set as just as high a standard as we would have with the other band for this stuff too.
Wow. So you guys have like a little studio in the house, so that's where you guys can.
Yes, my little oasis
Yes.
that the lock doesn't work, so they still come barreling in here anyway. But um, we come down here mostly after they go to bed, and we'll do a lot of our tracks, recording and writing. And
Yeah,
we're
it's
in
been
the
really
room.
nice having it here in the house. It's very helpful.
When we redid our basement, I was like drawing the plans out. I'm like, play area, studio.
Yeah,
And
sounds
slowly but surely, my studio got smaller and their play area got bigger. But it's big enough.
Yeah, that's kind of we had like a mother-in-law suite down here, and our mother-in-law didn't want to move in, so we're like, all right, well, we're gonna turn it into this little podcast studio. We do little videos and
cool.
stuff. Same thing, but I think it's awesome because we've actually had our daughter on the podcast for an episode, and like she's getting her interested in seeing this stuff. So is that something that your guys' I'm sure you guys are singing all the time, and music, if it's in your family, your kids are going to catch that bug. And so you make it like a family, not the Partridge Family or anything like that, but you know what I mean, where like they see you guys are passionate about it and they see you guys in the studio. And is that something that, that you want to pass on to your kids? Like,
Absolutely.
being boldly Catholic through your ministry, which is music.
Yeah, we actually have been even relying on our daughter pretty heavily like the last couple months. So she does sing, and we had her, she kind of joined when we started that, started playing for that mass. She was, I don't know, how old was she? Like 5? No, even younger. Like what? So that's 9. She was like a baby.
She was like
so
4.
But when she was about 5, she started coming up and, being with us. And then she'd be sitting there. She'd be like, "Can I sing?" And we're like, "Yeah, but you're 5." So we're like,
Do we turn the microphone on, or
let's see what we can do.
We did not turn the microphone on at first.
We gave her a mic and we let her just hear herself through the little monitor. So no one in the church could hear her. She could just kind of practice along with us and learn the songs. And so fast forward to maybe last year, we actually started putting her through the system, and she's pretty good. Like she really actually has, she can hear and she can sing. So we gave her a lot of work this year, actually, because recently I lost my voice. I had nodes on my vocal cords, which are now healing. And that's awesome because it was since June. I couldn't really lead or do anything. Yeah. It's a very, very slow burn of like having to heal and allow myself to not sing. And it's amazing. It's very humbling because you really have to rely on other people. And, we have another member of our group, Joel. He's amazing. He plays violin and he sings, but he was singing a lot of it and he took over a lot. But then I also would be like, "Okay, Rain, you're going to sing this one." And she's like, "All right." So yeah, our kids are definitely musical. River,
she's very bold too. She doesn't know the song. She's like, "Whatever, I'll figure it out."
Our son like piano. He's starting to pick that up now too.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the beauty of not allowing the world to dictate that your dreams are over or that they need to be it's that you invite your family in and you bring them along for the ride and look at how that impacts them and their lives and that trickle down effect, right? And what she could eventually then, go forward in her own life. It really is so it's so much more powerful than just waiting for the perfect time, because there's no perfect time.
Right.
And those songs are prayers. They carry them in their hearts. They can. It's a lot easier to remember a psalm when you sing it. That we catch our kids all the time. We listen to like Hillsong and Elevation and all that.
And
our
parish has
our parish has more contemporary music, but it's very well done. They have like professional musicians, so it's like top notch and it's done very reverently, which is nice. But like our kids, like we listen to the songs like all the time and they know the songs. I just catch them in the room. They're just jamming out and, it seeps into them. Songs, what does Augustine say? Singing's like praying twice because it does stick,
That's true.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Augustine is our son's middle name. So that's what popped in when you said that. Yeah, I think that's an amazing thing. The praying twice. I love that because I think that's what our mission is right now, trying to make it as reverent as we can. When we started, we were just it was so new for us to play the super contemporary stuff. So we were playing, Matt Maher and all that at Mass and all those songs. And pretty soon we started realizing which he's very talented and writes amazing songs. I just think we've sort of started finding our own way and trying to incorporate some more traditional things as we go, more and more and more. Yeah, and we recently just started attending the Latin Mass as well. So we play at the Novus Ordo, we attend the Latin Mass, and sometimes Novus Ordo too. It's both. But like, I'm realizing how much I want to do whatever I can and whatever we can to make the music, lift everybody's soul up as much as possible. So
yeah, that's interesting that you say that our parish, gosh, our pastor kind of talks about it as a Orthodox with a twist. I feel like he said that before. So the masses, even our school masses, all start with calling upon the Holy Spirit, but in Latin, Bene Sanctus Spiritus, and it's very reverent. But then the next song is some kind of like a contemporary Christian song, especially for the kids, because it gets them engaged.
But you go to one of those masses,
it's so
it's
very interwoven into between that ancient and traditional and contemporary. It's very it like crosses,
well, that's another
like adoration. Our adoration does the same thing, goes from
we have a lot
Latin
of adoration,
to contemporary music
nights.
But there's a way when it's done right, to do it in a way, as long as it's reverent, as long as it elevates you to have a connection and an encounter with God, because that's the point, right? That music is supposed to elevate your soul to be able to have that openness and that encounter with Jesus, that encounter with God, to open up our senses a little bit higher, to experience the spiritual, right? Because we're only a people of our senses, and there's a whole other spiritual dimension that we kind of forget about in our materialism and in our material. So I feel like music elevates that. So how do you, so my mom is very traditional, like very traditional. She comes to our masses and she like huffs and puffs, like, So as you as you is experiencing the TLM now, right? And that is your preferred way of worship. That would be my mom's preferred way of worship. How do you juggle between that contemporary and traditional?
Yeah, wow, it's a balance. We're figuring it out. I think we're working through that right now.
It starts with prayer. I think we really, when we're trying to reconfigure our group and figure out what our next direction was going to be, I think we just had to like pause and just kind of soak it in, and then just go into the Latin Mass and thinking about the rich history of the church and the chanting and things that we could do, that we could bring in and intertwine into what we're doing. We're just kind of exploring and investigating it right now. We're not exactly sure, but one thing we do want, when we started the group, we figured, okay, how can this be as Catholic as possible? Well, the two pillars are Mary and the Eucharist. So our first EP last year was Marian songs, released on December 8th, Feast of the Immaculate Conception. And now our next album that we'd like to do is going to be a Eucharistic album. And as we're recording, with the year renewal and everything. And so we really want to make those, this is sort of the challenge we're in right now. We really want to make those Eucharistic songs singable at Mass and as reverently recorded as possible. And so like it's so funny because like I instantly go for like, let's do this to the click track. Let's add some drums. Let's add some this. Oh, this is sounding great. Look at that groove. This is cool. The thing's blowing up. And she comes in.
I'm like,
yeah, no, get rid of all that.
That at the foot of the cross, though.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm like, and I hate to admit it, I'm like, you're right. You were right. It was better with just the voice. You didn't put all that other stuff. So it's a struggle right now. We're trying to figure out how to navigate that a little bit.
It's funny. Poor Joel has to be like our referee between so like I don't know if you guys have that working together on things, but like if we
don't have a referee, we need one.
I highly recommend one.
He's always laughing at us. He's like, okay, how about we do this and then we do that? And I'm like, thank you, Joel, because
we're trying to envision what that's going to sound like through this album. And hopefully when we get to the end of this 16 or 17 song album we're working on,
That's a
we'll
lot.
have a clearer picture of how we can do that and mesh those
That's
two.
so
'Cause that's
cool.
really our
The
goal. Is try
process is so interesting. I think it's important to remember the both and. You know, our culture, and honestly, the devil himself, right? He wants us to be divided, and he wants it to be an either or. But there's such a beauty in a both and,
right.
and that's what our faith is. It's a both and. I
That's
mean, that our world says
Yeah. Either
career or
one, only
children,
one's good, the other one's bad.
traditional or contemporary. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. There's another way to go. You
Well,
know,
that
and-
reminds me of the other Augustine quote is ever ancient, ever new. So
Oh.
how do you do both? You know,
Mhm.
it is a it
Hmm.
I like to compare it to the law and the prophets and the guardians. It's like, yes, let's hold traditional, but we also have to see, we have to change, you know, the dogmas and all that kind of stuff. We have to go crazy, but there's still like ways to make it have that tension between both, where it's
Mhm.
still reverent, it's still beautiful, it's thoughtful, it's thought about, especially when you're talking singing about the Eucharist. Obviously, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
it's new
we-
and it's something beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. We attended a couple masses that were like Novus Ordo, but they would have elements of the Latin Mass, you know, Ad Orientem, or even the communion rail or things like that. And I think even like the littlest things, you know, the bells, the incense, like a little bit, you know, bring it in. Like I like that, you know. I think that adds just even more. I think it's the mystery of it that I think is really beautiful. And I think the music can kind of do the same thing. Like
Right.
it can all go together where, yeah, you can. I think it's hard to say you can't ever create something new that's going to be, you know, as good as, or, you know,
Right.
it's going to work as well
Right.
as.
Or appeal to every aspect of what
yeah,
all
and
people's
it's going to be hard to
interests are.
top some of the
Exactly.
Gregorian stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
That-
obviously
yeah.
probably, but like, I mean, this last Sunday, I mean, I'll catch myself like when I get back from communion and I'm praying and they're playing like it's so good. Even the contemporary stuff, it'll bring me to tears. Like
Mhm.
I've had it both, you know, I've had that experience. Like, what's the song they dwell in the midst of us? I love that song. It's like, especially you come back, it's just like, but it, you know, but music, if it's done well and reverent, it has power to, you know,
Transcend.
silence does that a lot too for me, but
Yeah.
also great music is also good also. So we need great musicians who are reverent and doing it. Just because it's from, you know, that's I think that's part of the problem when we hear traditional. They think like the 80s, like, you know,
Oh,
like
that
the
drives me
song
crazy.
books from the 70s and stuff. Like that's not traditional.
We're a more traditional mass. You go in and it's Here I Am, Lord, which I actually really love that song
Yeah,
from the
but,
90s,
you
right?
know.
That's a
You're
classic.
good,
But
you're
that's our generation. That's the 80s. That ain't traditional. Like
But then
That's
that was
not
one
right.
of the conversations when we were talking with our violinist, because he kind of has been collaborating with a lot of these ideas. That was one of the first things we talked about, was our experiences growing up in the church and our Glory and Praise hymnal and City of God and all the songs that we knew.
Oh,
and it's like, but like we thought that was tradition.
Yeah,
Like
right.
19 copyright 1992, written in the 70s, you know, like
Ugh.
that's all I knew. I thought that's far back as it goes for me, you know.
Yeah,
So
right.
but then
Yeah.
when we started realizing like there's so much more,
Mhm.
the sparks started flying. And
It would. Can I just make a request after your 17 song album? Can you, because you know our generation would love it if you guys released like those old school, like our church, like Here I Am, Lord. I mean, I would jam to that. I would love every minute
One
of
bread,
that. City
one
of God,
body,
one
on
bread, one
eagle's
body.
wings.
Like I want all of those. Yes.
That's a good
Um,
idea. I
Oh, the
actually like that.
Lord of yeah, Here I Am, Lord. What's the other one I'm thinking of that's like the most popular
The one that
besides
Mo
Here I Am?
likes, which
Yeah.
one?
Eagles
Uh,
wings.
Yeah, Eagles Wings for sure. That yeah,
My mom hates
her
that
mom
song.
hates that.
She
song. She's
hates
like,
it.
if they play
Every
that at my
funeral.
yeah.
Every funeral.
Like,
Every
don't
funeral.
play
Don't
that at my
ever play
funeral.
this at my funeral. I'm like, okay, stop talking. This is like an emotional part.
It's so funny.
Don't
'cause
nudge me anymore.
I sing a lot of funerals. Like I'll cantor, like, you know, we don't play them, but I'll show up and I'll do the cantering, and I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, it's Eagles Wings every time. Every
Yeah.
time.
Eagles wings for the win, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. You know what, one that we were considering actually putting on the Eucharistic album was, you know, I Am the Bread of Life, the classic one, you know.
Yeah.
And we kind of sort of did our little twist on it, and updated it a little bit. But like, I was wondering if we should put it on there. And that's kind of a good point. People do have these, I don't know if you want to call it an attachment or
Yeah, totally an attachment. That's it.
It's
Right?
it's what you
It's nostalgia. And so like we're like not that many of our childhood friends are Catholic, or they used to be Catholic and they're not practicing anymore. So they'll literally like, we have a friend that's always like, oh, like, I'll come to church with you. Do they still sing that? Like, she brings up all the songs, she starts singing them to us. And I'm just like, that's like from, okay, that's the 90s. But okay.
That's
But I
funny.
feel like there's a sense of nostalgia in that. And I think that might be, that could be something that draws some people that have fallen away back, honestly.
I think that's a great idea. I appreciate the input there.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I
It's
just
very
think
ironic
more
because
people want
the parish that we're playing our music at is the same parish we grew up going to. So the school and the church from K through 8 or whatever. So being a part of that parish for 30 some plus years, it's interesting because like the same book I think is still in the pew from when we were
Very
kids.
much.
So I mean, we could
Gather or whatever
Yeah.
that's called. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How did you guys get introduced to like Matt Maher and stuff like that? That was our first introduction, like anything other than like Catholic music. We went to
a conference.
went to
and we
the
played
first
there.
Amazing Parish
We
conference.
didn't know that
and
Catholics.
we
had
didn't know
that.
any, and he played for Adoration.
Yeah.
And we were like 10 feet. It was like
Mhm.
changed our lives and our, like, we were just getting into our faith, and I had just become Catholic. We went to this conference and we seen him play. It was like in front of the Blessed Sacrament. It was like a small, like, it wasn't how many, couple hundred people probably.
Wow.
But it changed. Like, I mean, everyone was crying. The whole room. Like, I never seen Catholics like on fire for their
No.
faith. When you're in your parish, you feel isolated. All of a sudden, you go to a conference and you
Mhm.
see people like this. Weren't like
Your age.
It wasn't kids. These were like adults. So it was like
So
and
funny.
everybody's like crying and like I'm
Adults,
what
but
is
like
going
under
on?
70. That
Yeah.
was really cool.
Aw.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we had a similar circumstance.
Very similar experience. Yeah.
Yeah, where we went out to Arizona. There was a big Life Teen conference out there, and that was
Our parish decided
our-
to do the Life Teen program, so we
Oh,
were plugged
cool.
into the Life Teen, type style music, and a lot of the Mar stuff. And that was like our first inspiration was whatever he did, we would try to do. So
Yeah.
Right.
when we
right.
went out west to Arizona, yeah, you were.
yeah, it was kind of like the first time we had the same sort of thing with the the adoration, and the band was playing with the adoration,
Mhm.
and we were
I'd never had cried before at church.
No.
Kind of
Right.
like,
Us too.
whoa.
it's funny because like if I'm
there's young
ever
people here. This is awesome.
I'm a crier, so if I'm at adoration, I cry. So it doesn't really matter where it is or what's going on. If Jesus
Yeah.
is there, I'm just gonna melt.
I cried during adoration too. So thank you. That validates me.
Yeah. Well, we're blessed. We have an older the old church, which is like the day chapel, which is next to her school, and then a newer church. But we have Perpetual Adoration Chapel that's like in her parking lot of her
And
school.
like a little log cabin.
It's like an
that
old
was
log cabin. It's
another,
like one of the first. Used to be like one of the first churches, and it's
Yeah.
like in her parking lot. So it's just
Yeah.
like there's no excuse. Like you go pick up the kids. Like, all right, we're gonna go talk
Yeah.
to Jesus. Let's go.
Yeah.
At least get 10
I could
minutes
go
in.
more often, confession there, but
Right.
when you
So are you guys going to the Eucharistic revival in Indianapolis? Have you guys been thinking about doing that? You're close if you're in Ohio in July.
Yeah, we're close. We've been thinking about it.
Yeah, we were actually thinking about it. I did. Someone from the Eucharistic revival reached out to me, and we did like a little reel collab.
Oh,
Where
okay.
we
We
put
did
up
too.
Oh, cool! So
Nice.
we're all there. So
Yeah.
we should all go together. Now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we're going for sure. It's like an hour and a half, not even 2
no,
hours
like
from our house.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A little bit
Yeah.
further for us. It's like
Yeah. But we did that drive for our daughter's gymnastics meet last year,
True.
so we could do
Yeah.
that again.
Part of why I was asking because I was thinking because we had our last podcast we had Enoch on and he's
Yeah.
in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I don't know if have you seen anything about this on the West Coast they do like a Catholic Palooza.
You know what? I saw him posting about that a lot this
Yeah.
year. I was like, what?
So I'm like, we need to do a Catholic Palooza. Like, I'm like, we're gonna host it. Like, I get Enoch, get everybody we know, and have like a cool Catholic music festival, but make it super like out of this world, like different.
Yes.
Are
I'm
you
like, I'm gonna
suggesting to do this at the same time as the Catholic?
No, like before, like butt it
Or
up
the
next,
Eucharistic?
close to it.
Oh,
like
I'm in-
tailgate?
like a
tailgate.
long-
I'm in the,
Yeah,
I'm
like
in
a
the,
tailgate.
I'm in the thinking stages of it, but we're thinking of like, he's like Enoch's close. He's in Kentucky, so he's not far. And then I was we have an awesome, like I said, awesome band, but I'm like, we get just gets a bunch of different awesome musicians, and we're also attached to we have this awesome shrine that you know 500,000 people a year come to. It's the Shrine of Christ's Passion, and it's a beautiful grounds. It's like right where our church is at, and it's like life's now they've expanded it. Like now they have Mount Sinai with Moses and Our Lady of Guadalupe Plaza. It's something to see, but it'll also make it awesome like venue, you know, for like an outdoor stage and just like a whole like make it like a cool Catholic fest.
Dreaming big.
I just started thinking about it today.
I think that is a cool idea, and that when you are with that group of Catholics and that, you know, Eucharistic, what is it called again? Eucharistic revival, that could be your chance to maybe rub elbows, get numbers, and start to organize it. Well, but to have it in the parking lot of the same time.
I was thinking about making it like not just a concert, but just making like a whole day of like, you know, just. I like whatever. No pressure. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just thinking out loud. It was like, I'm just jealous that the people of the West Coast were getting all together. They're doing their Catholic scene.
We need a Midwest rep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because our kids were, my daughter was just rapping a bunch of Enoch songs.
Yeah, I know. We love our kids know, you know, your guys' song that you guys did. Was awesome.
That's their favorite, actually.
Oh, good.
We listen to like we're listening to all his albums, but like the new one we've been listening to every time I drive, we have like a half-hour drive to take them to their sports practice. And it's funny. They're so funny. The other day, I had it so loud, and the kids are like, afterwards, like I turned it off and they go, River goes, "Did you hear my note? I was holding it the whole time." And I said, "I didn't." My daughter's like, "Did you hear my harmony?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't hear my."
No, I was jamming. I wasn't paying attention.
I was jamming.
Like, they have it all memorized with their own made up lyrics because they can't quite follow what he's saying. They're down.
Close enough.
Yeah. He's awesome.
No, he's awesome, and he had nothing but praises for you guys and how good you guys are. And he said you guys are the best in business, mixing and producing, and so what's on the horizon, so people who are listening can find you guys and know what you guys are up to. Obviously on Instagram, we'll share all the links and all that kind of stuff, or anything you got going on that you want to talk about, feel free. But I know the single that just released, was it yesterday or today? The Freshman.
Yes. Yeah. So that, you know, the reason why we did that single was just because timing, it just seemed right. It was, you know, in Ohio, that huge vote was just happening, which issue 1 got passed. So it was very devastating. Yeah. And that song has always been just in the background of our lives, and like we just always loved it, you know, growing up.
We used to cover it in 8th grade.
You know, we were in I don't know how old we were, but like we were in your parents' basement and we were practicing, and it was just, I don't know, something we always loved. And so we always wanted to do it. And this time it just, all of a sudden it just popped up. And with my vocal injury, like we had recorded it prior to that. So we were like, oh, we have this, like, this is a great time. And then all these things are happening within the culture right now. And it's such a culture of death that we're in. And so it's like, it's nice to just take it from a personal place, you know, someone who experienced going through this pain and stuff. So that's why we went with that. So the single's out on all digital outlets. And let's see what's next. We're working on the album, the Eucharistic album. And then other than that, like, we're just constantly kind of doing whatever comes our way, I guess.
She's staying up late hours trying to get more reels pushed out every day.
Get those reels done.
Yeah, that's the struggle. That's the struggle.
It's funny. It's been amazing. Like, so I've met so many awesome people by just starting to post. Like I started to post like about a year ago, and then just, you know, like meeting you guys and like, you know, and just everybody like Enoch, and then these collabs like that have just happened. Just the most amazing people, everyone who's in love with their faith, that, you know, they're really cool. They're just good people. So
we can speak the same language, you know?
Right.
And it's nice to have a place to connect. Like, that's what I love about the Catholic Instagram, because it's like, I mean, you're gonna get the hate from the
community.
I get more like negative stuff from Protestants all day long, and like I don't know one Catholic that goes on any Protestant anything and like you're wrong.
We don't
you're
have
this.
time.
I'm like, you're wasting your time. Like, we're here trying to create beauty and get the faith out. If you don't agree with us, whatever, okay, but like, it's just, but it for the 90% of it is just beautiful. It's like connecting with people, you know, because sometimes you can feel isolated, you know, like, hey, we're taking our faith really serious. A lot of our friends don't, but we're blessed enough. We have an awesome small group that's like 25 people now that that are our age, have kids, and we help lead it. And so we do, someone gives a talk and we have a dinner, and then we do praise and worship song, and then we pray together and stuff. So, but we bring the kids into it so they get to see it.
And they have peers that are being raised in the same way, right? That we are. So it is a really
but it's
beautiful
helping
thing.
create relationships.
It's community that's needed.
And community that's needed on the online space is important too, because there is a lot of hatred and vitriol, and it's nice to see, hey, you singing or sharing a awesome saint story or reels and positive stuff going on. So keep up the good work. It's we're following along. So other than that Instagram, you guys have a shop and you guys have other stuff going on there. Tell us a little bit about. I know you do novenas a lot.
Yeah, so I try to go live and do a novena every month. Just kind of rolled out subscriptions and starting to get like a tight knit little group there, which is really cool. And then, like we do have a little merch shop, which just kind of was, I don't know, I just had this desire to do some Marian things that I just wanted to put on t-shirts and mugs and stuff. And that's been fun to see how that's developed. And then, other than that, like we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on, I think Threads. What's Threads? The other thing, I don't know, like all these things now.
I think it's dying down. Threads like started hot. It's gonna be hard to keep up with Twitter because Twitter's just
or Twitter is
X or whatever.
I can't even keep up with all this. It's crazy.
No, I'm just on Instagram.
It's a lot. But you're. I mean, you had an awesome year. You started and just skyrocket because it's talent. You put out quality, people recognize it, and you're authentic, and you're doing a good job. People respond to that. So keep up the good work. It's very nice to meet you guys. Thanks for taking some time, having grandma come over and help and everything. I know we didn't come in.
We made it.
It's like a date night, right?
No, seriously.
Like that. You got to squeeze in when you can.
We have a date
night.
Yeah,
and we're lucky. Our dog hasn't moved. Usually she's
sleeping. She's
like a puppy. Usually she'll jump up and hear
like
something.
At this time,
she's
crawling around our legs, and I'm going like this.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you do and giving people like us a platform to talk to and reach new people. It's great.
We love what you guys are doing too. Every day I see something like very positive and inspirational from you guys, and just it's awesome. It's really nice actually talking to you and meeting you. So
right. I know we could kind of
we would like hang out. We have very similar backstories.
Right.
Our kids are the same age.
Yeah, right.
Hey, they'd probably be good friends. We should just, if we ever move out by you guys, we'll hang out.
Yeah. Or if you're ever out this way, right? Exactly.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're gonna link everything in the story and the bio and all that stuff. So, other than that, we'll end with a prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Glory be to the Father and to the Son and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You have a beautiful night.
Thanks you too. Bye, guys.